Hello and welcome to the Access project for Software Fundamentals. I have the instructions printed and I will just complete the project here, and you can pause your video, and follow along if you want to complete yours at the same time I'm completing mine. So the first section of your instructions are just telling you to make sure that you save your project with the right name. So when you download it as a start file from SAM, you see _1 in the name. When you click Save As, make sure you change that _1 to 2. Alright, so you see up here on the top the name has changed to _2, and now SAM will accept it as a submission. So we'll start with the first step. It asks you to create a new table in Datasheet View with the following options. So to create a new table, we'll go to Create on the ribbon, just Table. The first thing they want you to do is change the primary key ID field to Adventure ID. So I will double click in here and change it to Adventure ID. They want me to change the data type to short text. If you notice, if I'm still inside without clicking outside after I change the name, the data type is grayed out and you can't see it. So you have to click outside and the data type shows up. So you need to change that to short text. And then it asks you to change the field size to 4. Here's your field size. Change that to 4. C, add a new field with the name adventure name and a short text data type. To add a new field, just click to add. Choose your data type first, and it asks for short text. And then the name is highlighted, so you can type in whatever name you want. Right now it's adventure name, and click outside. And then D is add another field with adult price as the name and currency data type as the data type. So I'm going to click to add, click on currency, change the name, and they want you to add another one called with the same currency data type, and this one's called child price. Alright, so save the table using adventures as the name. So right now it's called table 1. To change the name, we're going to right click, save, and then we'll choose adventure. Number 2, with the adventure table still open in Datasheet View, change the font in the table to Arial Narrow and the font size to 12. So we'll go to the Home tab on the ribbon. Here's our font. We'll change that to Arial Narrow and the font size to 12. And notice everything here in the table changed. Number 3 says with the adventure table still open in Datasheet View, add the records shown in table 1 below. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in those records. I'm hitting tab to move from one field to the next. Okay. Or, oh no, I want you to close that when you're finished. So save and close. Right click, save, and the X there to close it down. Number 4, open the reservation table in Design View. So I'm going to double click on reservation table. It opens automatically in Datasheet View. They want you to change it to Design View. So that is Design View. How do you know that? We'll click on the drop down arrow here in View, and it says here you are currently in Datasheet View as that is grayed out. They want you in Design View. A, change the data type for the lodging fee field to currency. So click on the data type here for the lodging fee field. Hit the drop down, change to currency. B, specify the session ID field is a required field. So we're going to click on the session ID field. We're going to look down here in its properties and find required. Here it is. Right now it's no. They want it changed to yes. C says save the changes and close it. So we'll right click, save. It's telling us that we may lose some data. That is because we changed the lodging fee field to currency. So we changed it from its previous type to currency. And whenever you change data types, it will typically give you this and let you know that if you had something typed in there previously, it might be lost now. Number 5, open the relationships window. This is over in database tools. Click on relationships. Here's our relationships window. If you want to add the camper table, so if I look around, I don't see the camper table. To add it, I click add tables. Click on camper and add. I don't want you to add any others, so I'm going to close that down. There's my camper. They want you to create a one-to-many relationship between the parent ID field in the parent table and the parent ID field in the camper table. So I'm going to drag this over here because it's going to be related to the parent table. So I want to do parent ID field in the parent table, so I'm going to click and hold, drag it over, drop it down here, so I open up a relationship window. It says make the relationship enforce preferential integrity, so check that box, and it says cascade update related fields, so click on this one, and then it says do not make the relationship cascade delete related records, so don't choose this one. You're good to go, click create. And you see your little relationship show up there. Save the relationships and close the window. So we'll right click here, save, and close. Number 6, open the counselor table in design view. So another way to open in design view is to right click and click on design view. Add a new field following the specialty fields. So scroll down so I can see it better. Assign the name CPR certification to the field. So to add it, I'm just going to click in there, CPR certification. And what do they want for my data type? Yes or no? So I'll click on the drop down, yes or no. Set the caption property using CPR as the value. Look down here, this is your field properties. So we'll look for caption, and we'll type in CPR. D, enter CPR certification current question mark as the description for the field. So your description's over here. So we'll click right here and enter in our description. Save the changes to the counselor table and close it. So right click, save, and close. Number 7, open the reservation table in datasheet view and then find or navigate to the record with the reservation ID field value 1700012. So we're going to open the reservation, double click, and it opens automatically in datasheet view. So I'm going to look for this guy. Change the lodging fee field value to 140. Okay. With the reservation table still open, apply a filter by selection to locate all records where the session ID field value equals 1. So, to filter by selection, we're going to click this guy. That's your sort and filter group right here. So that, sort and filter. So we're going to filter by selection, and then we're going to session ID field. So I'm going to click on this guy. There we go. So now, before, if you notice, I was over still in lodging fee, and when I filtered by selection, it still recognized that I was in lodging fee, but they want you to base it on the session ID, so I had to click over here in this field, and they wanted to find out if it equals 1, and then it returns all the values that equal 1, all the records. Okay, so change the adult price field for parent ID 101. What's this one? So change the adult price to $245. Change the child price field for the same record to $215. Clear all filters, save and close the reservation table. Toggle brings it back. So I'm going to save and close this now. Save and close. Open the counselor table in design view. Right click, design view. Use the lookup wizard to change the specialty field to a lookup value. So my specialty field's down here. You're going to find the lookup wizard over in the data type. So click right here and you'll find the lookup wizard down here. Up pops this guy. And you need to change to a lookup field. Type in the following 4 values. So you want to type them in. Next. I hit tab to move now. Limit the field values to only the items in the list. Limit to list. Do not allow multiple values for the field. Alright, so just leave specialty as it is and click finish. For the counselor table number 10, for the counselor table still open in design view, delete the home phone field. Here's your home phone. Click on when you see on the outside and you see the thick black arrow pointing towards the right, click on that. And then you can go up here and delete row, or you can right click and delete row. Either way looks fine. So save and close. Number 11, switch to viewing counselor table in data sheet view. Oh, I wasn't supposed to close it. Open it back up. And then change the special certification field value for Susan Kylie. Special certification for Susan Kylie. Right here. To Wilderness First Aid. So there's a drop down here. Click Wilderness First Aid. Now we can save and close. Number 12, import the data from the support file that you downloaded next to your start file. External data to import, click your new data source from file. It's a .xlsx, which is an Excel file. So I'm going to go browsing. Append the records to the activity table. So we'll click this guy and we need to append them to the activity table. Do not create a new table and do not save the import steps. So, okay. Next. Finish. Alright, so it says do not save the import steps, so I'm going to click that. So what that did was it took all the information that was on the activity Excel spreadsheet and it imported it into that activity table. So whereas the activity table had less records, now it has more. You can do this if, that's why Access is good, because it is closely related to Excel in that aspect. Excel you can have up to 3,000 records, but this database Access allows you to have thousands and thousands of records. So if you end up having more records than you thought, you can import them into this and start over new. Number 13, Carpenter Family Camp requires all campers to submit a signed liability waiver from their parents. Create an update query to change the waiver field value to no for the parent table. Alright, so we're going to go to create, query design, and it's going to be on the parent table, so we'll add that in there. Close that down, and it wants you to change the waiver field. So I'm going to scroll down here, find the waiver, double click, and it shows up down here. And it wants me to look and see if it says no. So I'm going to type no in here, and then I'm going to run it and save it. So we're going to run. I have to go back and see what happened. Back to design view. Criteria no. And the parent table. And waiver field. What I missed was that it is an update query. So an update query is up here. I need to click the update button. So these are all different queries up here. So make table, append, update, crosstab, and delete. So an update query. Update 2. So I have it in the wrong field. Here we go. No. Now they're right. I'm about to update 21 rows. So because the query only has the waiver field in it, you're only going to see the waiver field in the data sheet view for this. So I'm going to right click and save, and it's going to have the name waiver update query. Number 14, use the simple query wizard to create a query based on the counselor table with the following options. So create, query design, based on the counselor table, edit, include the counselor ID, double click, first name, double click, last name, double click, cell phone fields. Okay. Save the query with name counselor contact query and then close the query. So right click. Create a new query in design view based on the counselor and counselor session tables. So we're basing it off of 2 tables now. Query design again. We'll click counselor and add and counselor session, and we're going to add 2 of those guys. Now I want you to include session ID field from the counselor session table. So that's this one. B, include the last name, first name, cell phone from the counselor table. So last name, first name, cell phone. Go. Sort the records in ascending order based on the session ID field. So that's this guy over here. Sort ascending order. And then by the last name. So this one, ascending. Save the query using session contact query. Run it and close it. So we'll run it and close it. Number 16, use the Crosstab query wizard to create Crosstab based on the reservation table with the following options. So create. So because it said Crosstab query wizard, I'm going to go to the query wizard and I'm going to use Crosstab query wizard. And use only data. We're using facing out of the reservation table. Next. Include, use only data from the reservation table. Use session ID as the row heading. Session ID, row headings, children as the column headings. Use a sum of the child price totals. So child price sum. Save the Crosstab query using session child Crosstab. Next. View the query, then close it. Finish. Number 17, create a new query in design view based on the reservation table and session 1 payments table. Oops. Okay, select the parent ID field from the reservation table. Double click on that one. B, select the reservation ID, session ID, adult total, child total, and lodging. C, move the parent ID field to the right of the session ID field. So parent ID field until you get that thick black arrow pointing down, click and hold, and then drag it. Oops. Click once for it. And when it's highlighted, then you can move. Oops. There. Yeah. We can to the right of session ID. Okay, so the next one asks you to add a calculated field after the lodging field. With the alias total fees, that calculates the sum of the adult total, child total, and lodging field. So a lot of people have trouble with this one. If you want to know how to do it, there are multiple ways. You can simply type it in here, total fees, colon, space, square bracket, open square bracket, adult total, close square bracket, space, plus, space, open square bracket, child total, close square bracket, space, plus, space, open square bracket, lodging, close square bracket. That is one way that you can enter. I'm going to copy that so I don't take up too much time. If you do it that way, it works fine. If you can't, you can also go right click and go to build or zoom. Both will work. Zoom is the miniature sized box of the build. Go build. I've got a lot more help. So it shows you here how to write it in. So field 1 plus field 2. So you can also type in there. Click OK. Comes up the exact same. So either or, it will work fine. If you see EXPR colon showing up, you have to get rid of that. That is going to show up as your alias. That is not right. That happens if you type that in wrong. Alright, so on E, save the query using session 1 total fees query. Click save. View the query, confirm that it matches figure 1 below, and close it. So viewing our data sheet. Have a look. 1, 4, 8, 17, 18, 21, 24 looks right to me. I was naming out these last 2 digits here. So save and close. I save all the time. Number 18, open the states query and design view. States query. Add the criteria to select only those records with the state field value. So here's my state, and my criteria is down here of New York or New Jersey. So NY here, and you'll see this or. That means or down there, New Jersey. I'll just click outside. Save and run the query. So right click save, run it, and then it gives you records of anybody in New York and New Jersey. Number 19, open the younger male's query in design view. Younger male's query, design view. Add the criteria to select only those records with the gender field of M. Gender field of M. And an age field. So and is going to be in the same row. Okay. Of less than 10. So don't type in less than. What I'm going to need you to do is use these guys. Okay. So less than, alligator equals a bigger number, so less than 10. Maybe 10 is a bigger number. Hide the gender field. So that's this here. This says show, so I'm just going to click right here to hide it. Save and run. So right click, save, run. The gender field is hidden, but the ages are less than 10. Okay, number 20 says open the session's total query in design view. Modify by adding totals to the query. So we're going to add totals to this query here. The show and hide group, we're going to click totals. I'm going to add a new total row right here. This is for the session ID field, set the total row to group by. So session ID, group by, that's the default. We'll leave it like it is. For the reservation ID field, set the total row to count. So this is save and run. Right click, save and run. Session ID. Okay. Create a split form based on the parent table. So with forms, you're going to click on the parent table and then click create. Form group is here. Click on more forms. Here's our split form. Because we have parent selected over here, that's what I based it off of and called it parent form. Save the form as parent update form. So we'll right click and change that name. Close the form. Number 22, open the parent update form and add a new record. So let's click down here. Add a new record to the parent table using the values shown below. So to add a new record, you can add it up here, or you can click down here. I like to click down there. You can enter it in down here, or you can enter it in up here. Okay, so using figure 2, enter in the data. Alright, I always save and then close. Number 23, create a simple report shown with figure 3 below for the adventure table. So we'll click on adventure, create, and it wants a simple report. Over here, we click report. Save the report with the name adventure report and then close it. So we will change the name, adventure report, and then close. Number 24, use the report wizard to create a new report based on the parent table. So we'll click on Parent, go to Create, Report Design. Oh, wait now. Report Wizard. There we go. Report Wizard. Based on the parent table, it showed up here because we had it selected to the left. Include the parent ID, first name, last name, home, phone, and cell phone in that order. No additional grouping. Sort in ascending order by parent ID. Use the tabular and portrait, which is the default. And the name is going to be parent contact form. Oh, oops, not form report. Preview of the report is selected there. So finish. Shows up. I click save and close. Number 25, open the session 1 report. In layout view, make the following changes. A, remove the city and state columns from the report. So I'm going to have to scroll over so I can see state. So I'm going to click in here and click on my control button on my keyboard and select that one as well and click the delete button. This one, control again, this guy, hit my delete. Right, so there, delete a few times to get rid of them. And then add a totals row that calculates the sum of the values and add. So to add your totals row, you're going to have to click inside here anywhere and add totals. Click on the adults columns, they asked for that. List for sum. I have to change that in another view. Can't really see your totals there too much. And also sum in children column, so children, totals, sum. And there we go. Change the title to Session 1 Camper Report. So the title is this right here. View it in report view and confirm that it matches the figure below, and then close, save and close. So I'm going to save it right now. I save everything. You will check it out in report view. Make sure it looks the same. It's good to know. I'm going to close it down. I've already changed the name up here so it is saved. No open tables, forms, reports, or queries. And that everything is saved and done. So I can just close it down, go to my SAM, and submit it for review. Thank you.